Welcome back to the best show that you've ever heard, and some songs you've heard and known your whole life, and some songs you've never heard and just were like, holy moly, my mind was blown. You just heard Slim Cox and his Cowboy Caravan, Lonely Nights featuring Jimmy Stephen. And of course, we started all off with Hank Williams, Your Cheating Heart. Let's talk about Slim.
Slim Cox and his Cowboy Caravan from Coventry, Connecticut, my hometown. Really, Gerard Miclet. Him and his brother Rocky was really Roland Miclet. They were raised in Vermont and then moved down to Coventry. Started playing in a band, and they were playing with lots of other people. Like I said, it is one of my earliest childhood memories. Is I remember my family bringing me down to the local dive bar, our lakeside, and listening to this band perform. And at that point, it was like, in the early 80s. So they were probably one of their last performances as a band, Slim Cox and his Cowboy Caravan, because I think their sons took over and kept the band going for a little bit longer.
Really? They kept the name and everything?
I think eventually, when I saw them, it was the Cox family band. But they've been through a couple iterations. Slim Cox and his Cowboy Caravan. Lonely Nights featuring Jimmy Stephen. This is country and western like you never heard before.
Oh, yeah. I definitely. Yeah, it always impresses me when I hear country western music from New England because I mean, it sounds like this is right out of the old opera, you know what I say? The old
Mm.
grand old opera.
And they've played at the Grand Ole Opry. They've played all over the place. They used to perform at Lake Compounce, which is like our local riverside down in Connecticut,
Huh.
for over 37 years without missing one Sunday. They've
Wow.
been on tour. Slim was a disc jockey at WJKO of East Longmeadow, Mass. for 4 years, and then did a show at WTIC in Hartford, Connecticut in the 1940s through the 1950s. Appeared on the Arthur Godfrey Show, played with the Down Homers for over 4 years. It's just a local staple. Everybody knew them. They got around. They were big superstars back then for the area.
I love how personal this is to you.
It was because I remember my family talking about them a lot because they enjoyed their music, and I think my grandfather used to know them personally, and it's just kind of cool reflecting back on my childhood and not realizing how cool this would be to me as an adult.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. This is so much cooler than anything I heard as a child. I mean, not I I heard some cool things when I was
You
a child.
did
Like
in New York,
it,
Broadway.
no, I mean it's cool. I mean it's just like a cool local thing that's it's so personal. And of course, to pair it with Hank Williams, it makes complete sense. It's a perfect pairing. I mean, it's something that's just so country. It's the real deal. This is perfect. You're cheating hard too. It's just one of his most classic tunes, one of his most classic recordings. And by the way, I mean, if you just look at the dates of these recordings, this recording by Slim was recorded in 1956, and Hank Williams' recording of Your Cheating Heart was 1952. So
Mm.
talking about like recordings that were made within just a few years of each other.
They were probably Slim was probably influenced by Hank Williams and say, "Hey, we can do something like that." And yeah, they're very similar songs about cheating and being lonely after a breakup, and we're still doing songs like that today.
That's the great thing about country music. That's what it's about, like the real things in life. It's the basics. It's cheating and relationships and love, loss, and your mama.
Yep. And pickup trucks and dogs now.
Dogs, trucks, and your mama.
Well, so that was like original country and western, and we've got a block coming up of some modern country. You want to tell us about that?
Yes, indeed. Well, we are going to hear from some women of country music, definitely very modern, and also comparing a New England woman who is a country artist from New England with a real Southern country artist as well. So we're going to start with Miranda Lambert, Tin Man, and then we're going to hear from our very own Caylin Lee with Revenge.